Hi, I'm Brian Rose, the founder of Biohackers United, and I'm a vibrational energy biohacker. My goal is to transition from the third dimension to the fourth dimension through the training of higher vibrational training, which consists of work with the gamma and lambda frequencies, which I'll talk about like in future videos on how I actually do the higher vibrational training. But I've actually had 2 outer body experiences, and with those experiences I've discovered fourth dimensional beings, which I saw as plasma energy or divine light beings. But that's just a little bit of a background, what kind of biohacker I focus on. And today I'm going to be walking you through and talking about egregores. Now, most people aren't familiar with an egregore, but I'll walk you through everything that has to do and how to protect yourself, to free your mind from their influence. Now, this is the book that I read, which I highly recommend. It's just simply titled Egregores. The book explores the history and influence of egregores, which are powerful psychic entities that are created by a collective mind group. The book examines the history of egregores from ancient times to present day pop culture. It also provides instruction on how to identify an egregore and to free your mind from the destructive agenda. So once you read the book, specifically what an egregore, it's a thought form that has an agenda. Egregores will automatically influence your thoughts and actions on a daily basis, and they are sustained by ongoing news reports, and they're indoctrinated through various rituals. So who implements egregores? Governments will implement egregores, churches, corporations, news channels, and global organizations. So here are some examples of egregores in modern society. The first one is climate change. Now, I'm not going to dispute climate change or that the climate is changing, but it's the emotional feeling that you have automatically if you don't recycle. Another example from a government are the Japanese kamikaze. So the Japanese kamikaze pilots were known for being influenced by the egregore of their society to crash their planes in the name of honor. A corporate example of an egregore would be like Coca-Cola. Have a Coke and a smile and you'll find happiness in a bottle. The final thing we'll look at is a new one that's come up, which has actually been around for a long time, is artificial intelligence. What you're hearing nowadays on the news is that it's going to benefit society, which it can have benefits when it comes to production. But once we start to look at it, we can see that it was created back in 1956 as part of the Dartmouth research project itself, but it could transform society. It will look at how it could impact you and how it can change everybody through interconnected beliefs. So here's some examples of the impact of egregores. Egregores can automatically cause you to have a particular opinion on different events without you even knowing it. Some examples could be the thoughts that are created from news channels such as CNN or Fox News regarding world events. You'll notice or you'll see it in other people that they'll automatically start to adopt a particular thought or belief on different events that are going on throughout the world. Social media platforms. Social media platforms are huge, especially like Twitter or X, where egregores will manifest as shared beliefs and then they're amplified and reinforced online. So I want to tie in how information in the form of egregores impact everybody and you through our interconnectedness. So the universal law is quantum interconnectedness, which states that everything in the universe is connected through energy and frequency. Just be aware of the limited beliefs that impact who you are as a person that are stored in your subconsciousness, and you want to start to become aware of thoughts and beliefs to make your own decisions. Once you start to recognize egregores, or you start to realize external beliefs, forms that you can identify, you can step back and you can make your own decisions. As a homework assignment, watch the movie if you haven't seen it, or rewatch it, the movie What the Bleep Do You Know? But particular attention to Mr. Emoto's research on the hidden messages in water. As you can see in the picture, there are certain words or certain phrases like peace, compassion, thank you, wisdom, that you can see the crystal imprint of water when different vibrational frequencies are applied to them. Now, you can have destructive phrases that have the opposite effect. So this is what I want you to kind of think about when it comes to particular phrases that are used as thought forms with a particular agenda, and how it could impact the human body, because the human body is comprised of over 60% water. So you can see, looking at the different pictures from Mr. Emoto, on how words and thoughts could impact the human body. So here's an example of how humans are interconnected. There was a group of over 4,000 people in 1993 that gathered in Washington, D.C. They meditated for several months and they reduced crime by over 23%, which include rape, murder, and harassment. So it just shows that humans can come together through their thoughts and meditation of peace, harmony, and happiness, can decrease crime stats in a particular city like Washington, D.C. So this is particularly a concern when it comes to artificial intelligence, because once you become aware of the information on AI platforms, which they could eventually create information that once you start to realize, and basically they become your thoughts from the information that is provided to you at night when you're sleeping, it's automatically uploaded to the Akashic records or the ethereal plane. So we're all linked by the universal consciousness through vibrational frequencies. So the data information from either the news, social media, or specifically artificial intelligence, if it has a particular agenda, that information is retained in your memory, and then it's uploaded to a universal database that everybody is connected to. So this is why, if we're not careful, artificial intelligence could manipulate humanity, and it could manipulate our thoughts throughout the world just by the information that they start to provide. Now, this could impact not only you, but it can impact your generations in the future, because this was a study that was done that showed the connection between inherited information across generations. So this was the Diaz experiment that basically studied mice. They connected the scent of almonds and then they paired it with electrical shock. Kind of cruel if you think about it. So every time they released the smell of almonds, they shocked the mice. Now, after time, the mice, every time they smelled almonds, they freaked out. But what was fascinating was they took the sperm of the mice that were being shocked, they put it into the female mice who had offspring that independently had their own belief, and when the offspring were put into a situation where they administered the smell of almonds without the electrical shock, they automatically were conditioned and reacted in a negative reaction. And this didn't just happen to the first generation, but it happened to the second generation. When they, like I said, were in a situation, the second and third generation of the scent of almonds, it had a negative impact. Now, we not only have seen this in a laboratories setting with mice and the electrical shock paired with almonds, we've actually discovered this with Holocaust victims and the impact that it's had on generations, the children and the grandchildren of the people that have been impacted by the Holocaust itself. It's actually been proven to be inherited through generations, and the same thing could happen with information that is artificially created, if you think about it, as propaganda from a artificial intelligent form, which can not only impact society, but it can impact generations to come. It will also, like I said, impact society because it's gonna be uploaded to the Akashic records or the universal consciousness, which all the generations in the future will also be interconnected to the Akashic records. So, as in conclusion, egregores are formed through shared thoughts, beliefs, and contain emotional energy which gain strength through repetition. Now, when enough people start to focus on a particular idea or belief, it can alter the behavior of the public. Try to become aware and simply recognize when you see an egregore, when you hear an egregore on the news, in popular culture. You need to start to form your own opinion, biohack, or protocol, which would help is to meditate on a daily basis, because when you meditate on a daily basis, it basically quiets the mind and it frees your mind from external thoughts. I'll go into a different video where it talks about how to meditate, or the different meditation programs that I've been through, like Vipassana, where we meditated for 10 days, 8 hours a day, and different thoughts that might arise. But after you go through a program such as that, and then you start to see egregores or thought forms that have a particular agenda, you can step back and you can assess it and you can recognize it to make your own decision and to realize how it impacts both you, your friends and family, and you can see it play out in society. So I hope this helps, and be sure to subscribe. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions about egregores. I highly recommend getting the book on Amazon or listening to it on Audible, and then watch the movie What the Bleep Do You Know with Dr. Emoto's research on thoughts, phrases, and the impact that they showed on water crystals. So I'll see you next time. Thanks.